In today's video, I will be talking about All Hell's Breaking Loose, the 15th studio album by the band Raven. It was released on June 30th, 2023 through Silver Lining Music. In my opinion, this is one of those legacy bands that had an underground following, but never became as popular as bands like Iron Maiden or Judas Priest. They've been around as long as those two. They almost have as many albums as those two bands, but I guess you could compare them to a band like Anvil, where they're having fun, they're not reinventing the wheel, they're doing what they love, and when you get a new album, you're not going to get anything different. You're going to get this fun return to classic heavy metal and speed metal. It's hard to believe this band has been around for a long time. They formed in Newcastle upon Tyne in 1974. It was the brothers John Gallagher and Mark Gallagher on bass and guitar respectively. And the band's lineup changed several times over the years. John and Mark Gallagher were the only constant members over the years. Right now they're a three-piece band. The current drummer is Mike Heller. So their early music was influenced by 70s hard rock like Zeppelin and Deep Purple, but soon they developed their own sound, and they went into more the speed metal direction with the fast tempos, heavy riffs, and catchy melodies. So they are part of the new wave of British heavy metal from the early 80s. So they continued to release albums and tour throughout the 80s and 90s, and they remained popular with heavy metal fans around the world. In recent years, the band continued to record and tour. They released their latest album, Metal City, in 2020. They're considered one of the most influential heavy metal bands of all time. The music has been praised by critics and fans alike. The band's live shows are known for high energy and intensity. They've been constantly praised for their musicianship and showmanship, and they've influenced like many of the big bands. Even like Metallica would even like cite them as one of their influences. So this album has 10 tracks, just classic heavy metal, fast tempos, heavy riffs, catchy melodies, and so let's talk about the songs. It got some like favorable reviews. I'm just going to read one quote from a reviewer, Angry Metal Guy, and he said, "Their formula holds up well over the course of All Hell's Breaking Loose. They keep song structures simple, write catchy refrains, and slather everything with zany vocals and wild guitar excess." So I think that's pretty much a good way to sum up this album, but let's talk more about the songs. The opening track, Medieval, first few seconds almost sounds like an intro to like Metallica's And Justice for All album, where they have like this like guitar that kind of like starts to build up and increase in volume, and then they have this part where they open the intro with like a wedding ceremony. We are gathered here today in order. But then the song just gets very fast paced. The drums are very frenetic. Guitar riffs kind of reminded me of the classic Anthrax type of sound, where it's thrash, but you have more of a speed metal style vocals, and the vocals going from low to high. And there's some vocals where they're almost like falsetto, so I thought it was a pretty good album opener. Surf the Tsunami was one of the singles. My first impression was I had this drum intro similar to Painkiller by Judas Priest. Has some very fast and like virtuoso style guitar playing. I thought it was a good song. It was short and to the point and filled with heavy metal guitar riffs. Turn of the Screw is another fast-paced and energetic song, and uses lots of rapid-fire drumming. The vocals have highs and lows, and the guitars mix some thrash metal-style guitar riffs with sustained power chords and just classic heavy metal. All Hell's Breaking Loose was one of the first singles released by this band, and it doesn't sound like they've always had. I mean, the song could have been recorded 40 years ago. It's traditional heavy metal mixed with speed metal. The vocals are high. You have lots of high screams. You have a fast pace. The song is a cool and short bass guitar solo. I was listening to the lyrics. They mentioned like lockdown. So at first I thought it was about the pandemic, but I listened more and it seemed to be like some kind of like post-apocalyptic scenario. So I thought that was pretty cool. The Far Side was a little different. It had more of that new wave of British heavy metal influence. You hear that in the galloping guitars. I guess you can compare the song to bands like early Iron Maiden or Saxon. The song has some cool harmonized guitar part sections, and this was one of the songs where that was a little more on the melodic side, one of those choruses that was very catchy. Desperate Measures has some guitar riffs that were more on the thrash metal side. Drumming was very frenetic on this song, and like most of the other songs, the vocals were in the high pitch range, varying from lower to high. There's also like a catchiness to the song. I thought the chorus was memorable. Victory's Call, much like the others, is fast-paced, it's energetic, it's high-pitched vocals and thrashy guitar riffs. The song has some interesting guitar breakdowns, and you can hear the bass guitar very well in certain parts of the song. I thought it was something very apparent in most of the songs in the album. Edge of the Nightmare, another one, just continues to what we've been listening to. Not much else to say about it, but it's just a fun listening experience. And Invasion, this one was a little different than some of the others. I thought it was pretty good. It had a slightly longer run time, like close to 5 minutes. They slowed it down like a little bit, like not like really like slow like doom metal or anything like that, but it's like they kind of like took the pace down a little bit. They have more thicker and chunkier like guitar sounds, and also they did some interesting things. Like halfway through the song, they go into like double time and get like really fast again, and then they slow it down again. They have like these like thick like bass parts towards the end. So I thought this was one of like the better songs on the album. And the final song was another one of the singles with a music video. It was an energetic heavy metal song called "Go for the Gold." And the song is the music video was fun. Like it's about sports and competition. So in the music video, they're going to show a soccer game, or they're going to show like a competitive ice skater. And then there's one scene where these guys are like running with like this raw egg on a spoon. The music video also has other competitions like arm wrestling, and all in all, it's a fast-paced heavy metal song. Very fun, not too serious, more of a tongue-in-cheek type of song. So in conclusion, I thought it was a fun trip down memory lane. An album that brings back the glory days of those classic 80s speed metal albums. It's an album that's short and to the point. The album's about 36 minutes long. Most of the songs are about 3 minutes long. And it's an album where, on the one hand, it's fun listen. You got the guitar riffs, the fast-paced drumming, the high-pitched vocals, and brings you back to those old days where, you know, just where everything was just like fun, heavy metal. There are some negatives, maybe like sometimes the high-range vocals kind of get like a little annoying at times. The production might seem loud at times, but I think in general the songs are pretty good. There may be some filler on the album. I think there were some songs that might have been forgettable, but I think just as a whole, it's a decent album. It's the type of album I'll probably be like adding some songs to playlists here and there. So my score is going to be a 7 out of 10. It's just a fun throwback to those early speed metal days. That is all. Let me know in the comments what you thought. Please remember to give this video a like. It helps move with the algorithm. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and check out this video right here. It's one of my more recent album reviews, and I will see you in the next one.